Well, SBS Dateline's Amos Roberts is in Cairo and he joins us now. Amos, it's just after 9:30 in the morning there now. We can see crowds gathering in Tahrir Square for the March of Millions. Do you think this will be a turning point for Hosni Mubarak?
It's certainly going to be a turning point for the protests. Ever since the curfew ended this morning, more and more people have been thronging to the square. There have been thousands there ever since Saturday. They take it in turns and shifts. There are people there all night. And it's going to be a real test whether they can get the numbers that they need to really send a signal to Mubarak. There's a lot of concern amongst the protesters about what might happen today as well. There are thoughts that they will not in fact be marching anywhere because they're worried that this might be seen as too provocative, even though the army has said that they will not fire on the protesters.
Well, just on that point, how is the army's role being perceived there?
Look, the army is being seen in an incredibly positive light. They're seen as the saviours of the people, even though they haven't made any decisive action yet that sort of tipped the balance. I had a rather interesting experience with the army myself recently when we were picked up, my fixer and I, and detained at an army checkpoint, and that gave me an interesting insight into how the army is seen.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about exactly what happened there?
Look, we were picked up driving in Giza after the curfew had ended. There were military checkpoints almost every 20 metres along the road there. And our taxi was sent away, we were searched, we were questioned, and then we were taken late at night, blindfolded in a van to another place where we were questioned. But that drive was quite extraordinary. The roads are largely controlled by the civilian militias at the moment, and the army were very concerned about being fired upon. We were forced to keep our heads down. There were men with rifles cocked, pointing through the windows as we drove through. They would yell very loudly as they approached a checkpoint that they were army. And once they were recognised as such, the civilians would start cheering and chanting and praising them and banging on the sides of the vehicles. At other points we were actually fired upon as we were approaching checkpoints. So the streets were extremely tense, but the army are definitely seen as potentially making the key difference in this protest.
And you're right in the thick of things. That's SBS's Amos Roberts bringing us the very latest from Cairo. And with the whole of Egypt offline, Google and Twitter have joined forces to help Egyptians continue to voice their concerns. Using their Speak to Tweet service, Egyptians can call a phone number and have their comments posted online without an internet connection. The only remaining internet service provider in Egypt, the Newell Group, was blocked earlier today.